The fuck is wrong with us? Oh well, we're back for another video. Today's session is going to be a mixed mash of some strength stuff, some flexibility work. I am making a bigger switch towards primarily training for jiu-jitsu and keeping my body right for that, and pulling away a little bit from some of the more gym related goals that I had. Unfortunately, hammering cleans, hammering pull-ups, hammering bench press, hammering push press has left my upper back and neck in a bit of a rough situation, let's say. My neck has been giving me a lot of grief this last 3 or 4 weeks, and I just had to peel back on some of the heavier barbell stuff, which I'm going to reintroduce a little bit of, but not as much. I've had to bring in a little bit more flexibility work, a little bit more of rotation of the upper spine and getting a little bit more extension through the spine. Fortunately, doing jiu-jitsu, we end up with a little turtle back and we kind of get stuck in this position here. What I actually need to do is working the extremes of flexion, extremes of extension, and getting a little bit of rotation in. So we'll walk through a little bit of that stuff today, along with some deadlifts, which I haven't done in a very long time. I've just been RDLing. And we're going to reintroduce pull-ups today for the first time in 3 weeks, but thankfully we've got some rings here, which we're going to do on the pull-ups, which tend to be a little bit less stress on the neck. I'm going to talk to you about a few other different things when it comes to training, when it comes to jiu-jitsu, when it comes to just combat sports, collision sports. We'll touch on some field sports stuff too, as usual, and you regular gym goers are going to get plenty of information and gold today. Hey, no, there's no need to shout there, the gym's empty, like. Sorry. Let's go. While I'm doing my face pull isometrics, there's no better time to tell you about a little secret. Now, you may know about this. Have you ever heard of the actor Tom Hardy? Of course you have. But I bet you didn't know that he also has an alter ego as a rapper. The nickname Frankie Facepuller, Frankie Pulitzer. This face pull is in honor of Frankie Facepuller! This right hip just doesn't fucking enjoy this at all. We all have just one side that is not cooperative. Side is my side. Here's one thing that you aren't doing that's gonna make your training progress rise like it costs a fucking everything. A notebook. Now, there's nothing fancy about this particular one. I bought it on Amazon for like €6. But what a notebook or a logbook can really do for your progress is that it actually can tell you if you are making progress or not. If you don't count or if you don't track the weights that you're lifting, the reps that you're doing, the amount of miles that you're running, whatever type of training you do, if you do not have a way of tracking your load, tracking your progress, you don't know if you're making progress, and you could also be driving yourself closer towards injury. Managing your training load all comes down to knowing what you're doing from a week-to-week basis in terms of overall volume and intensity. And when it comes to progress, we want to see those numbers rising, whether it's reps, whether it's weights, whether it's the total volume of training that you're doing across weeks. We want to see the trend going up in terms of progress. You need to track in order to know that. And we also want to manage any of our injury risks. Get yourself a wee notebook. One of these ones does the job, or just get any sort of notebook from the shop. Really doesn't matter. But if you're not tracking your training, you don't know if you're making progress. And you just silly Phil. Yep. First deadlift in almost 8 months. Let's go. The setup and the initial first pull of a deadlift are the two bits that end up messing up most people's deadlift. It's not that it's a major thing that you need to change. What I find is that people drive away from the bar too much and lose the tension in their legs, or B, they just try and rush the rep, and it's impossible to maintain good solid shapes when you rush something, unless you're really good at it and you've got a lot of practice under the belt. Example, if you look at some high level deadlifters, they may roll the bar out, roll it back in, go straight into it with a bit of speed. You are not at their level, so don't you repeat what they do. You're better off taking your time, get a good shape at the bottom, build that slack up, take the tension gradually through the legs and take the bar gradually up off the floor. Once you get past the knees, generally you can speed up. So the two things I want you to do: take your time, get in a solid position at the bottom, take that slack off the bar. That's part one. Part number two, go really slow up until you hit the knees. If you're not keeping that bar close to the shins, that is what you need to work on. If the bar shoots out in front of you, that is what you need to work on. Taking a wee video from the side is probably going to give you the information you need. You can't tell what's happening by looking down, because you're going to fuck the rep up by doing that. Eyes up, video your sets, work on the things that you know are not great. That deadlift of yours is going to fly up. You buy it?
Oh my god, that's some stretch across the top of the back. Like, it feels like there's like fucking, I don't even know, my back is like so rigid across the top of the spine, like from like here across the shoulder blades across. Feels like it's just like fucking rammed together for some reason. Doing that feels like it was releasing. People saying deadlifts are bad for your back. You lick, good for your back and your granny. Oh. Alright, 100 kilos, feeling okay I suppose. Knee and mat, took a little, down to the, took a little. Not bad, felt pretty good. Let's get training, bro. Let's get training.
Strength and conditioning for combat sports isn't about being the biggest animal in the gym or having the highest numbers. What it's about is supplementing your current training. You can improve your strength, power, flexibility, conditioning while getting better at your sport, but it's hard to do everything at once. This is why an approach that takes a sustainable view on things is the best way to go about it. At the end of the day, your sport is the most important thing. If what you're doing in the gym is affecting your ability to train hard and improve your skills of the sport, and it's affecting your performance in competition, it's not worth it. What you do in here in the gym should only add to what you're doing in your sport. Maybe you need to take a step back from all your extreme training methods. Start looking at the minimum effective dose, which is the least amount that's going to give you a good return. The reason why that's important is because the injury risks are much lower. The time that you need to dedicate is much lower, freeing up more energy, time for the thing that's important, your sport. Don't get lost in trying to be the biggest animal in the weight room. Be the biggest animal in your sport. 140, 25, 60, 140. Okay, 140. not bad. Previous 1 rep max on deadlifts is 200 kilos. Now I've done that with straps. I've torn my Achilles, I've torn my MCL since that. So we're on the road to above 200 kilos again, for the first time. But we're not going to use any straps. I'm not using straps for next week because I want to have grips that could, basically tear someone's arm in half. With my bare hands. That's the goal. That's the goal. Okay. Pretty fucking good. I think I almost shit myself.
If you cannot get into a position, let gravity force you into the position. Being able to create tension with your body is important. So is being able to relax. If you do a sport like rugby, jiu-jitsu, or a combat sport like MMA, there's a good chance that you are constantly focusing on tensing up, tightening up, and that may leave your body feeling a little bit worse for wear in the long run if you have no activities built into your week that force your muscles to relax. Things like yoga can be pretty good, things like Pilates can be pretty good, but you can also bring an element of relaxation into the gym. Example, sit at the bottom of a squat, just relax, let your lower back, let your hips do what they do. As with any other type of flexibility training, we need some areas contracting, we need some areas relaxing. Right now, my quads and my hips to a certain degree have to contract or else I'd fall over. But the rest of my body can relax, and it allows those tissues to lengthen under load. If you do not have any exercises within your training program that allow you to lengthen under load and to relax, and your body is feeling tight, stiff, banged up as fuck, maybe you need a little bit more relaxation. Maybe you need more relax. Fuck, I can't even say. There's a good chance you may be wondering, what the fuck am I doing this for? Would you not just do a normal like lunge or a split squat or a squat? See, step ups offer something slightly unique versus lunges, split squats. There's a lot more of an eccentric load on the way down because you're coming from a height, because you're getting into those deep ranges of motion. Gravity and your body weight and whatever you're holding on to is forcing a lot of load through those joints through length. So as I'm coming down there, I'm hitting my quads, I'm hitting my hip flexors, I'm hitting my glutes in different ranges and at different speeds than I would be doing in a lunge or a split squat or a squat. I find you do need a little bit of assistance here for balance. That's no bother. We can still load it up and we can still get through the reps just without falling on our arse and having a little bit more stability. Particularly for grapplers, combat athletes, people who are going to come under a variety of chaotic positions. Being exposed to extremely deep ranges of motion like this is a very valuable tool, even if it just is an accessory of your training.